Stand by for audio. Got it.
It's 8 a.m., and you're tuned to Mississippi's #1 choice for non-stop sports. The Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
Where am I?
On the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
Oh, man. Good morning to you. Merry Christmas. I hope you have a festive Christmas season, and happy holidays to you. Thank y'all for hanging out with us on the show. We love you, and it's greatly, greatly appreciated. Really we want to have fun first and foremost, and then kind of let everything else, play out. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Little saffron chowder tonight at Philip M's. Are you kidding me? Goodness gracious. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. We'll be live from Pearl River Resort tomorrow. Oh, man. Pearl River Resort, Golden Moon Casino, Sportsbook and Lounge, an award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. How's that sound, Meadows?
I just don't know that you have a better night to go eat that saffron chowder.
I know, when it's cold. I do want to give a shout-out to the new sister property. The Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians will open Crystal Sky tomorrow in Louisville, Mississippi.
All right.
And that is super cool. So that'll be 3 properties. Pearl River Resort, including Dancing Rabbit, right? I include Dancing Rabbit underneath the Pearl River Resort umbrella, along with Silver Star and Golden Moon. Bocoma, down right outside of Laurel, which we're going to do several shows from in 2025. And they have a brand new casino and brand new sports book at Bocoma right outside of Laurel, which is one of my favorite towns in Mississippi. And there's another Bo Bounds down there. He's not as famous as I am, but he's wealthier. And then now they're opening Crystal Sky, which is a blend of entertainment and convenience. And yes, you will be able to bet on sports there. So when you're going to Starkville, and 99% of you drive through, not that high, but many of you go through Louisville, Mississippi, which is some of the best high school football in the history of the state of Mississippi. And you stop and you grab some ginger ale or Diet Coke and some chips and some gasoline for the truck or SUV or car. You're 2 minutes from Crystal Sky. So that's kind of cool in Louisville, Mississippi. So grand opening tomorrow. 150 slot machines.
Okay.
A sports book lounge, a restaurant, retail space, and of course a convenience store, gas station. So they're not playing around. That'll be their 3rd property. Pearl River Resort, Bocoma outside of Laurel, and Crystal Sky now in Louisville, Mississippi, which I think I've driven through probably 4,000 or 5,000 times in my life. I mean, I don't know. Something insane. So, and I'm ready to get back up to Starkville. I haven't been as much lately. And we're going to have a couple of my buddies or meet me there, and we're going to have a bourbon tasting, because I've got all these. I mean, I need to do something with them, or it's going to drive Wendy crazy. Got all this bourbon, so we'll just do little flights with little, Glencairn glasses.
Yeah,
and try some private barrels.
Just wanted to let you know that forever I thought that Glencairn was a person.
You thought, oh, did you?
Yeah, I mean, you kept saying Glencairn. I thought that was a guy who invented some kind of glass.
What?
No idea.
I don't know what the backstory is, actually, so he may have been.
There may be a Glencairn.
Maybe like some guy from Scotland.
Yeah.
Or England. Or somewhere in Europe.
I'll find out.
And that may have been his name, Glencairn. and then the glasses took off.
Sounds like a decent name.
I think it's kind of cool.
I mean, I'll divvy into the dive over to the Googles.
Now, were you divvying and diving earlier?
Hard.
Now, but you stepped in dog poo poo this morning. You told me the story.
I did. It wasn't a Shakespearean tragedy, but it was a tragedy.
Okay.
It was tough, man. I was actually, I was moving and grooving this morning.
Okay.
Up early.
I don't know. Yeah, like you came in and you had showered.
Yeah. I shower in the mornings. That means I'm up and at it. I'm doing
Well,
things.
it makes you feel better.
It does. I'm awake. It's a good thing.
So you were up and you were doing all the good things that you need to do in life.
Took
and
the
then
dog out.
you stepped in a big old heaping pile of dog poo poo right outside your car.
Not even my dog.
Not even your dog.
And that's the problem. Because
you should call your HOA.
A LoHo?
God, that'd be funny.
At the LoHo?
Yeah.
Leftover houses?
Leftover houses, HOA, or whatever. I love to have fun with guys who take themselves, men and women, but guys who take themselves men and women who take themselves too seriously at HOA.
Got to give our HOA credit.
Something happens. People get elected to an HOA and then they change.
Ours is
on a power trip. I'm going to do like a podcast, like a 5 or 6 series podcast on HOA. Can I tell you something? Don't ever join the HOA.
Really?
No.
Oh, I'm not.
No. No.
I'm not even sure that.
All right, so back to the dog poo poo. Did you think about ripping off an email or a text to the HOA press, especially early in the morning?
Well,
because that's the first thing he could have seen, which would have really made him mad.
I'd love that.
Yeah.
No, the very first thought was take the shoe off, throw it in the van, and let's go. I mean, barefoot. I visioned it because all this happened very quickly, and I knew I had 3 hours.
Because you were moving and grooving.
It was hot. I was moving.
Were you wearing Nikes?
Yes.
Oh, so you got dog poo poo on some of your good looking Nikes?
Not a fan. Very, very.
Were they Jordans?
They were.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, man, it's tough.
I can't afford Nikes. I got 2 kids in college, so
pressure wash them.
I don't know what I'm wearing. What am I wearing? I'm wearing Peter Millar's.
Oh, well.
So those aren't even on the same page as Nike Jordans.
Well,
but so tell me, what
had some 11s on too, man. It was tough.
Oh, you had some Nike Jordan 11s?
Jordan 11.
All right, tell everybody where they can go. You've got 5 or 6 pairs for sale.
Oh, I do.
All right, tell them where they can go if they want to buy. These are never been worn Nikes. No. Where can they go?
They can go to the Facebook. They can go
Jackson
to
Meadows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check it out.
All right, so go to what sizes?
That mainly 13. Got a bunch of 13s and a size 12. They are obviously brand new, never been touched.
Okay.
They're never being released, or they haven't been released in a long time and won't be released for a long time. So we
Okay, so you've got pairs of 13s and 12s.
That's right. I got about 30 of them for sale.
Nike Air Jordans.
Nike Jordans.
Go to Jackson Meadows Facebook page.
There you go.
Nice. And check it out.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
This man needs to pick up some Christmas money. He told me he wants to travel a little bit over the holidays.
Right.
These things are worth unbelievable money. Jackson's bought like 80 pair.
Yep. It's time to unload.
Go to Jackson Meadows Facebook page, check out his Nikes and buy a pair.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right. Is that good?
That's a wonderful plug.
All right, good deal. Who do you think? What do you think Mississippi State's record in 2025 will be, Bo?
Start the chant. 2-10. Let's do it again.
I think they can get to 4-8. That's what I'm kind of. If they get to 5-7, I mean, you may just have to burn the town down with the party. That's kind of where I am. Unfortunately, Jeff Levy has decided he's not going to make any changes, which, according to some of our texters, they think that Jeff Levy is holding the football program hostage. Steve Robertson coming up next, genespage.com. Oh, man. Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. This is ESPN 105.9 The Zone. And, Steve, we had a bet, and it looks like over the next few weeks, I'm going to take you to Commodore Bob's or somewhere like that and owe you dinner because Jeff Levy's not going to replace Coleman Hutzler, which is beyond insane, I believe.
I'm looking. Can we get appetizers too? I mean, I like to get my money's worth when I go out to eat. I just
yes. Yes,
yeah, and maybe some dessert, maybe some cheesecake for the road. Or some bread pudding, maybe. That's good to me.
The whole thing. We'll do appetizers. I tell you, we'll go to Commodore Bob's, and we'll do appetizers, entree, and dessert.
I like it.
I can tell you this: Mississippi State fans don't like it because my text line gets lit up every day either way, but I can't read a lot of the text that are coming in. Many of them are season ticket holders, and they're not happy that other teams across the country who have had more success are upgrading their play callers, either on offense or defense or both, and Mississippi State's not doing either. Your reaction to season ticket holders or stockholders, alums, fans that are, or, people that also pay to be on your premium site.
Oh, absolutely. And that's really, I think, the biggest question with all this stuff is, we're asking fans to do more and more and more than at any point in recorded history, right? I mean, you're asking people to, you pay a seat license to buy season tickets, and, we need you to fund NIL, and, we want you to be a season ticket holder in multiple sports. And so we're asking so much of fans, and that, so where does the dialogue rest, right? I mean, so should fans be able to have a say in coaching decisions, or, and then where does it go about, roster decisions or playing decisions? I mean, so, it doesn't fall on deaf ears with me, because I hear
have you heard from a lot of
coaches,
people that they're extremely disappointed that Levy hasn't upgraded the defensive side of the staff, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. And, when I first put that out there, about a month ago, I guess that's right. Time flies when you're having fun. But I put on the board, I said, hey, people need to wake up to the possibility of Coleman Hutzler coming back next year, because I believe that Jeff Levy wants to keep him. And immediately, people, Steve, you're kidding, right? I'm like, I'm not here to give you my opinion. I'm here to give you what I'm hearing.
Sure.
And that's my responsibility, and that's sometimes that's what happens. It's like we had a thing earlier today. We were talking about I guess P.J. Woodland was reported to go in the portal yesterday, and then he pulled himself out. And I made a comment. I said, I would take him, but I'm not sure State would, just because of the fact that, you got to get bigger on that side of the football. And somebody says, well, Steve, I disagree with you here. I would take him. Well, no, you're actually agreeing with me, because I said that I would take him. I just don't know the and that's what happens sometimes is somebody thinks that I'm like an unofficial ambassador for the football staff, and I'm speaking on behalf of the football staff. I'm speaking on behalf of myself, my sources, and what I learned independently of all that stuff. So it's not my job to sit here and justify anybody's decision or their non-decision. But yeah, people are disappointed, because here's the thing, and I said this on Twitter yesterday.
I think it's a slap in the face to the fan base.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing that I would say about that is I don't think that that's taken into account, right? I think what it is, if you're a fan, you begin to think, I love Mississippi State. I want State to win. I want the pain to stop, right? I don't want to endure another 2-10, 3-9 type year, So what's the most obvious change you can make? Well, you look at, defensively, pitiful, right? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, the number
111th in defensive scoring efficiency.
It's not a matter of opinion, right?
Right.
I mean, you've got facts out there, and that's where I think fans are well intended. I mean, nobody is anti Jeff Levy, but here's the thing. If you run it back next year with basically the same defensive staff and you have similar results,
this is it.
All of a sudden, yeah, then you look at, hey, well, maybe it was Chap, and so.
Well, no,
I'll
say it. I'll say it right now. On this will be taped and so on. He put himself in a spot. He had 3 years, that, and he doesn't anymore. He has 2025 because he decided he pulled a David Cutcliffe, and he decided not to make a change. All right, so Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. I'll bet you on that too. That if he doesn't win probably 5 next year by rolling everybody back, he will be let go instead of getting another year, which he should have had he understood the room. All right, I got to know something. I got to know an update. What is the latest? How do you feel on Oklahoma transfer QB Jackson Arnold, Steve Robertson?
I feel pretty good, and I like to feel really good. And I think if State can survive this visit to Auburn, I think we begin to feel really, really good. There were some reports out there that were very premature, and what I mean by that is a lot of times people have an idea of, hey, I'm going to go in the portal. Here's where I'd like to go, right? Like ideally, this is what I'm thinking. Well, everybody has representation these days. Everybody. And here's the thing too, and Bo, you've worked in business for a long time. When agents and lawyers and people like that get involved, as they often do, matters such as these, they're not just out for their client, right? You're trying to get the best deal for your client, which in turn gets you the best deal for you. And we have a lot of people in this industry right now, and there's going to have to be some regulation as we move forward because it is absolute chaos right now. You got guys that say, hey, I want to transfer to Mississippi State and play for Coach Levy. Well, then you have the agent say, hey, you know what? That sounds all well and good, and I know that they're going to keep you, but let's get as much money from them as we possibly can. So let's take a couple visits, or let's, let me do all the talking. And so all of a sudden it gets out there, oh, this kid's probably headed to Mississippi State. Well, then other schools that are in the mix are like, oh my gosh, we're losing. We got to step it up, So, hey, get on the phone with his agent, tell him we'll give him $100,000 more. And so really, there's so many people out there so hungry to get the scoop and get clicks and things like that. And really all they're doing is driving the price up.
Sure.
And,
all right, let me ask you this, Kevin Coleman. I got about 45 seconds. Give me the rundown.
I'm disappointed. I mean, really, I think that's the biggest disappointment to me in the portal traffic. I'll go and start because I like Kevin Coleman, not just as a player but a person. But I've been trading some texts with Power Mizzou this morning, and he's expected to be at Missouri tomorrow. I don't think he leaves Missouri without signing a deal. He's a kid from St. Louis, and they've tried to get him 3 times now.
Right.
He's been in the portal every year of his career. And I saw somebody tweet out that said, hey, I don't think it's God's plan for you to be in the portal every year. And then that's not necessarily Kevin Coleman. That's everybody.
Right.
I tend to agree. It's a lot of times we go out here and we're doing things for selfish motives, and then we want to, attribute those to some holy divine purpose. And I just don't think that's the case. But kind of call it for what it is. But, I'm just told Kevin's going to have an opportunity to get back to home, and I know that State did everything they possibly could. They gave the family and the kid everything they wanted, and ultimately the one thing they can't do is be closer to home. And
all right.
Sometimes
Steve.
it works out that way, but we hate it.
We'll do another hit soon. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Kevin Coleman to Mizzou, evidently. Money and Jacob Peeler and close to home. I mean, they gave him a huge, huge offer out of Mississippi State. We'll be back. Steve Palazzolo, NFL Insider. Good morning to you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I hope you enjoy a Tito's White Russian. That is Jackson Meadows' favorite cocktail. And what else was I going to say? Lunch today. What do you call Aplos? Rotation? Yeah. So we got a gyro last night. Well, yesterday afternoon to go. And it was delicious last night. So lunch today brought to you by Aplos in the Renaissance and Aplos in Highland Village. And have you been on a rotation?
I'm always on a rotation.
Okay.
Always.
I just want and your fantasy football team is in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah.
All right. We need to talk to Steve Palazzolo about that. He had the number one NFL podcast in the country last year. His show is Check the Mic. It's on all the platforms. Steve Palazzolo joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Jackson, you want to give him a couple of your players that are on your team?
Oh, dude, I'm stacked.
Okay.
You know, we're rolling. The receiving core is just beautiful. We got CD running out there, leading us the way. Lamar throwing it to him.
Okay.
Who else? We got Zay Flowers out there for the little combo with Lamar. It's a good little team. We're I think Joe Mixon. Yeah, Mixon's running back for me. So it's
okay.
Nakua out there with CD.
Damn.
Got Kamara. Got Kelsey at tight end too. I drafted very well.
Dang, you got Kelsey too.
Boy can draft.
Okay. All right. So Steve Palazzolo, do you feel like he can win it?
Yeah, he doesn't need me. He doesn't need my advice. Apologies for my voice today, but yeah, I think Jackson's ready to go.
Okay.
I do need one piece of advice here.
This will be awesome.
Lamar was actually on the is on my other playoff team. I have a playoff team this week. This is my big money league.
Big money.
And I've got two quarterbacks. I've got Patrick Mahomes starting, and he's been starting for a while, but Jared Goff has been putting up numbers.
Ooh.
And I keep benching him. Where do I go?
Oh, we got to stick with Jared in that Lions offense.
Really?
I think so.
I think
Don't
you're right.
I hate making these pressure decisions, though. You know.
No, but I like it.
That's it.
Okay, so Bills at the Lions this weekend, and so to be indoors, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
being
huge.
way up there
That's
near,
huge.
and the Lions are laying 2.5, but Bills at Lions. How many years didn't you win? Like 3 or 4 years, or 4 or 5 years, and then you stopped playing? Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was 5 out of 7, and I finished in the finals in the other 2 in my Experts Dynasty League, or 4 out of 6. I don't know. I won the majority of them, and then they folded the league.
So,
Because I was a dynasty.
you were Steve Palazzolo, won 5 of 7 years in fantasy football. Did you ever win cash, or was it other stuff?
No, it was just cash. Yeah,
Okay.
not a ton, but it was all people from the fantasy industry, and basically I had a good draft to start. It was Dynasty League. I had an unbelievable draft to start the thing, and my team was just loaded year after year.
Okay, that's unbelievable to win 5 of 7. What was the most you ever won? Like $300, $500?
Exactly 300, I think it was. Yeah, that
Okay.
was the payout. Yeah,
And you went
but
and bought
it was like a Christmas bonus every year. I was like Chevy Chase banking on the Christmas bonus from the fantasy league every year.
Yeah, and then you could go load up on Skyline Chili.
Oh yeah, brought the kids there last night. Actually, I'm going to send you pictures every time I go to Skyline with the kids.
Did you really take your kids to Skyline Chili last night?
Yeah, they just like the spaghetti, not the actual chili. They just like spaghetti.
Okay.
So that's it. Yeah.
Is Skyline Chili like the equivalent of? Are they everywhere in Cincinnati? I mean, how does that work?
Everywhere.
So it's like Chick-fil-A and Wendy's and stuff down here?
It's like Dunkin' Donuts in the Northeast. You can't take 3 steps without having a Dunks right next to you where I come from. That's Skyline here.
Okay. NFL insider Steve Palazzolo on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Stella Artois and Wings at Aplos and the Renaissance. What's going on with A.J. Brown? So the Eagles are winning.
Yeah.
But A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts, somebody's the godfather of one kid, right, Jackson? Who's who? Jalen is A.J. Brown's kid's godfather. but AJ's not happy, but they're winning, and Saquon Barkley's having an MVP season. So what gives, Steve Palazzolo?
I think it depends on how much you trust A.J. Brown's explanation yesterday. He was basically saying, the question was, what's wrong with the offense? Well, it can't be the run game because Saquon's an MVP candidate. He's running great, so it has to be the pass game. So that's what he's saying was the answer, and you would say that's correct. The pass game has not been as good as the run game relative to expectations. And A.J. went on to say, the pass game, that doesn't just mean the quarterback. That could be pass protection. That could be the receivers. That could be anything. And there's some truth in that, right? Obviously, with an 11-2 team, you don't necessarily want to bring that stuff to the forefront if you don't need to. But there's been a little disconnect with the pass game there. I don't think it's wrong. A.J. caught all 4 of his passes for first downs last week, but I think there's more to be done. And Jalen Hurts is an interesting quarterback because I think he's good overall, but I do think he has some pass game limitations. And he's had multiple offensive coordinators now, and the offense kind of morphs into a similar style. And it's kind of slow and plodding, and you get the tush-push that breaks it all up, and you got the run game now. But I do think they've lost a little dynamism through the air, the ability to really create big plays the last few weeks. So we'll see if they attack a little bit more. But, I think A.J. was just kind of being honest. Hey, the run game's better than the pass game right now.
Well, how would you Jalen Hurts is a good player, but he'll never take out Mahomes and Josh Allen and, Matthew Stafford, dudes that just throw darts from the pocket. But he'll never even I don't even think he'll ever be considered like good as a refined passer from the pocket. He kind of is what he is now, right?
Yeah, I think it depends on if you're saying he's not good, he's probably underrated. If you want to put him in that top tier, he's probably overrated. So it's somewhere in between that. A lot of the offense is built around his ability to run, what they're able to do in short yardage. And then, he doesn't always handle the blitz well. Some of that was schematic last year in particular. So, there's some polish needed to his game from a pass game perspective, but they've got great weapons, and it's on him to get the ball to them. And I think they could do a better job of that, be a little bit more consistent with it. But I'd say, Hurts is definitely a tier below or 2 tiers below those top guys in the NFL, despite being in the MVP race, over the last couple of years.
How did Steve Palazzolo's NFL Insider NFL Podcast of the Year last year? His show is Check the Mic. You're traveling. You're bouncing around. You want heavy NFL. You want to go with Steve Palazzolo and his group. How would you describe running backs now? Has something changed? You love to throw the ball. I get it. But with what Saquon and Derrick Henry and others are doing and the impact that they're having, how would you frame that up as far as the impact and importance of running the football at a high level in the NFL?
So, no, I don't think anything what's being said over the last few years. The running back, so all of those guys that are making an impact, let's just use Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, for instance. Both left bad teams, bad situations, bad offensive lines. Saquon Barkley was averaging 4.1 yards per carry over his last 3 years with the Giants. Derrick Henry was averaging 3.9 yards per carry last year with the Titans with a bad offensive line. And now they go to a good situation, and Saquon's at over 2 yards per carry more than he averaged with the Giants. And Henry's up close to 6 or whatever he's at right now. So I think what it reinforces, if you have the other pieces in place, and by the way, one of those pieces is the running quarterback. The running quarterback puts so much strain on the defense. It's essentially like a free block of a player, right? It essentially cancels out one player on the defense who always has to account for the QB. So now that takes pressure off the offensive line, the tight ends, the fullbacks, blocking up front, just takes pressure off. So now you're dropping and those guys are good running backs. Barkley, Henry, I would even say, let's say Christian McCaffrey before he went to the Niners. Sure. And look what he did to their offense. So what you did is you took really good players who cannot produce on their own because you just can't produce on your own as a running back. as much as other positions. Do QBs need help? Absolutely. But can a QB elevate a team more than a running back? Yes, no doubt. So you took these good players and you dropped them into great situations. Baltimore with Lamar, have to account for Lamar, good offensive line, pass game weapons. Philadelphia, all the weapons that they have. Talk about McCaffrey with San Francisco a few years ago. Did he elevate their offense? Absolutely. But they were already good. So I think when you hear those narratives like, oh, the running backs are valuable again. Well, yeah, if you have all the other pieces in place, they can be the cherry on top still.
Okay.
But they're not going to go to a bad situation. Just get ready for the Ashton Genty discourse, Bo. That's what the Cowboys need. Despite what Rico Dowdle's doing right now, that's what the Cowboys need, Ashton Genty, so they could be just like the Eagles and Saquon Barkley. Just wait. It's going to happen January through April. But you have to make sure that everything else is in place before you put the cherry of the running back on top of the Sunday.
Okay, fair enough. Steve Palazzolo, NFL insider, on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. His show is Check the Mic, and he joins us on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Okay, so that makes sense with Saquon and Derrick Henry and McCaffrey and so on. If you got to pick any wide receiver in the NFL today, who would you pick?
It's going to fluctuate every week between Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase right now.
Boom.
The way they're playing. Coming into the year, I would have said Tyreek Hill. If you take age out of it, there's always the expectation is he'll regress at some point, and I think you're getting some of that this year. But I always thought Tyreek Hill over the last few years was just so difficult for opposing defenses to account for because you can win everywhere. But Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson are up in that boat, and I'd say A.J. Brown's close. But you see with Jamar Chase getting targeted like 18 times or whatever on Monday Night Football, I mean, he's been the focal point of the offense. They get him the ball, and he still manages to create those big plays. I know Jefferson had a bit of a touchdown drought, but if you watch Minnesota play, teams have to account for him. Kevin O'Connell does a nice job moving Jefferson around, and he's opened it up for everybody else. They have other guys to throw to. So, look, I think Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase are battling for that top spot. I'd probably put A.J. Brown in that conversation as well. And then I think Tyreek Hill may have finally hit a bit of a point where maybe he's not, battling for that top spot any longer.
Okay. Is Joe Burrow better than Patrick Mahomes?
Better than, I would not say. Playing better than, yes. I mean, he's definitely playing better than him. But I don't think he's better than him in totality. And there's still something like Mahomes is not good, has not been great throw for throw, down to down this year. That's no doubt, that's the truth. But he does have that knack in crunch time for the most part. I mean, there's some other stuff he's gotten away with. He could have sealed the deal against Denver, overthrew a wide open Travis Kelce in the end zone, overthrew a Xavier Worthy in the end zone against the Raiders. Those were the two games. Like if they had lost those games, which they should have from an offensive perspective, if they had lost those games, you blame Mahomes. But now the narrative is, Mahomes always comes through in the clutch. More often than not, he does. So Mahomes is better overall, but Burrow's playing better football. And Burrow could be up in that mix with Allen and Mahomes and Lamar and whoever else you want to put up there and compete with those guys. Burrow's just really been let down by the other side of the ball so much this season.
Okay. All right. So this is the second year, though, that Mahomes has been able to do this because Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, and Chris Jones, among others, can get enough 3 and outs and over the course of the game and do things on the other side of the ball to allow the offense to create some magic at the end, right?
They're kind of defying the odds, right? So a lot of analysis and everything is like, hey, you can't just focus on red zone defense. You can't just focus on turnovers because those things tend to fluctuate. And I think in the Chiefs case, you can't just take a team that always wins by 3 and assume that'll be the case. The Vikings did that a couple years ago. Remember, they had 10 one-score wins, and it's like, well, that's never going to be sustainable. That's impossible. And it is over time. Like you should not be able to play with fire every week and not get burnt. You shouldn't be able to do that. But the Chiefs have a knack It's like they're calibrated to win by 3 every single week, no matter whether they're playing the Panthers or they're playing, a good team. They just know how to win by 3. So I think there's an element of they keep doing it because they do play. They don't make the key turnover. They don't make the key mistake in the fourth quarter overall. And the other teams do for the most part. The Raiders, they fumble, and the Broncos, they block the punt, they block the field goal against Denver. So, look, at some point, could it come back to bite? Because it's just a play here and there. If you go back through the one plays, not just this year, but in the playoffs, like in the playoffs with Kansas City, they bat a pass on 3rd and 4 that would have ended the game for the Niners. If Jalen Hurts doesn't just drop the ball fumbling against them in the Super Bowl. Like, there's a lot of one-off plays the last couple of years the Chiefs have gotten away with, but they continue to get away with it to this point.
Who, if you had an opportunity to pick any tight end you wanted today in the NFL, who would you pick? Steve Palazzolo?
It's still probably George Kittle, but boy, Brock Bowers is getting close now. Brock Bowers is getting close already. I mean, that guy is such a good, smooth receiver. And, he doesn't have to block in line like some other guys, but he can have a Kelsey-like career where it's like, dude, this guy could take over a game. He could win down the field. He can win in the short area. I think Bowers is going to be close right away. Kelsey's different this year. I think you could see that in Kelsey. He still, slithers through the secondary, and can get open. But he doesn't make any of those dynamic plays after the catch. Now watch him turn it on in the playoffs.
Right.
All of a sudden look fast again.
Right.
But he's just kind of been, getting by this year. So I don't think Kelsey's in the mix anymore. But Kittle, you saw that last week. Kittle looked fast last week. When he's healthy, he's still legit. He just doesn't get targeted as much in that offense. But I think Bowers is already close to being that guy.
He's unbelievable. NFL insider Steve Palazzolo on the Out of Bounds show. What do you make of Bill Belichick making the move to college and taking the North Carolina Chapel Hill job, Steve P?
I was really surprised. I think as surprised as everyone. Now everybody's going to come back and say, "Oh, we should have seen this coming." But yes, this is surprising. I think part of it is he's trying to set up his son for another job. That's part of the deal, allegedly.
Good grief.
But it's funny because people close to Belichick, even as recent as 20 years ago, did talk about how much he loves the game, and maybe he would take maybe it was it Halberstam maybe years ago writing this. Mm-hmm. I just saw it today. Maybe he would take a lower stress job just to be a teacher, love football, that type of thing. And I still think he wants to get paid. He likes the money coming in, and even if it's a lesser amount than he would have gotten in the NFL. But I also think there's this element of how many NFL teams actually want to turn everything over to Bill Belichick. So I think he realized that and, gets a head start on getting a job, not dealing with the NFL coaching cycle. And it's going to be fascinating, especially as college coaches are trying to get out of those head coaching jobs.
Yeah, they are.
He's opting in. And it's wild how crazy it is right now. The fact that you've got recruiting and the portal and the playoff, like everything's happening at the same time. There's no downtime. And Belichick opted into that. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure this thing's going to work out. I know he hired Lombardi, and he's the biggest name in the game, or Belichick is one of the biggest names, and Lombardi's a big name too, obviously.
Yeah, Lombardi got his fame by just being attached to Belichick.
Right.
That's pretty much.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I'll say on that.
I love that. Shots fired. Steve Palazzolo came with violence today, and we like it. So he just took an ice pick to Lombardi's Achilles, and so that dude's toast.
He attacks us all the time without knowing what he's talking about. So
okay, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Get him, Michael.
Go get him, Michael. All right, dude. Well, hey, I'm going to the Saints game this weekend. So you want me to send you? Yeah, they're letting me go on the sideline for the game. Do you think should I take a pic and send it to you since you're the bigwig NFL guy?
If you can get a picture with Jaden Daniels or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get a picture with Jaden Daniels. Maybe Drew Brees will be on the sideline before the game, and I can get in one of his investments for like $400 or something. So, all right, dude.
Tell them. Yeah, that'll be fun. Send pics.
All right, man. Have a good week.
All
We
right.
appreciate you. See you, man.
All right. Yep. Thank you.
Steve Palazzolo. His show is Check the Mic, and he joined us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. The show is brought to you by The Armory on Lake Harbor in Ridgeland. Firearms, suppressors, optics, all at The Armory. Beautiful, beautiful shop. Beautiful store and shop. It's The Armory, Lake Harbor in Ridgeland, right in front of Kroger. The Armory, Lake Harbor in Ridgeland, right in front of Kroger. And I thought Steve P was good today. How about Brock Bowers? Sounds like it would be a tough call for him between Kittle and Bowers. Both insane talents. One's a veteran, one's brand new to the league.
Brock's so nice.
Generational, man. You like that? Do you like that I just dropped that?
Love that. Because he is.
Did I just say that? Transcendent?
He is.
Generational?
He is.
God, I'm going to come up with all kinds of
He's
stuff.
going to be one of the best of this, of the next 15 years.
He absolutely will be.
I mean,
if he doesn't get hurt, he is Hall of Fame.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean,
he will be.
Lord.
He will be so much fun to watch.
Yes.
And if they can get their stuff together out there, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Right.
Oh, my goodness, man.
God almighty. Boy,
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about it all the time.
I wish Dak Prescott would have ended up out there. I said it last year. You give Dak a Brock Bowers, goodness. And I love Gardner Minshew. Everybody knows it. I love Minshew mania. I want him to play for a long time and he's already making a ton of money, and make a $1 million. Love what he did at Brandon, Washington State, and what he's done in the NFL.
Right.
But Dak at the Raiders would have been cool with Brock Bowers.
Bowers plays basketball on a football field.
You are right. Kind of like Tony Gonzalez.
Yes.
And
Antonio Gates
from San Diego / LA. Again, some of my favorite uniforms in the history of sports: San Diego Chargers, LA Chargers, UCLA blue, San Diego blue. My boat is that color, and it's because I love Dan Fouts and Kellen Winslow Sr. And you can't take it from me. The show is brought to you by the Gyros and the Pizzas at Aplos and the Renaissance and Aplos in Highland Village. Enjoy lunch or dinner there today. I had a great gyro from there last night. We'll be back in a second.
Say, kids, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m. and this ain't okay show. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
On aboard!
As Mississippi's #1 morning show rolls on the Zone 105.9 and online at thezone1059.com.
Bar 2 on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Stella Artois. Oh my gosh. So Chip Lindsey was hired by Michigan as the OC.